I'm just Namrata ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
you please start with the introduction.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone present here. So, I welcome you all to the 15th session of Yashaswini Live Webinar Series. This is the 15th session which we are conducting. So, we have in this session we welcome the two speakers of this session, which are CA Karishma ma'am and CA Dipti Jain ma'am. I welcome you all and even the participants to the webinar series, the 15th webinar series. Coming ahead, I'll introduce to the first speaker, CA Karishma ma'am, who is going to enlighten us on the topic of transfer pricing. So, talking about that, Karishma ma'am is a partner at Deloitte India LLP, leading the tax controversy management team specializing in transfer pricing, corporate and international tax, and indirect tax litigation. With ma'am's 25 years of experience, she has held a leadership roles in transfer pricing and dispute management at prominent accounting and tax firms. She is recognized as an expert in tax litigation by Euromoney and listed among top 10 transfer pricing advisors in India. She has an extensive experience advising life sciences, technology, financial service clients, and has contributed significantly to the fields through speaking engagements, publications in esteemed journals, and active participation in organizations like IFAI and ICAI. So, with the vast experience and Karishma ma'am's experience, I hand over her to speak and continue the session and enlighten us on her inputs. Thank you, ma'am.
That for introduction to start with my section. So I think today's objective is to talk about the subject of transfer pricing. Transfer pricing per se is falls under the broad gamut of taxation and more so under international taxation. Um, Basically, the TP law, you can say, was introduced also almost equal to the number of years that I've been practicing. 2001 was when the TP law was introduced in India. And, since then, there has been an evolution in transfer pricing over the last 25 years in terms of one, both the way the law and the framework in India has also evolved, and also the opportunities that lie ahead for a CA professional, to adopt if you want to get into tax but not get into like very hardcore tax work, but you want to be more learning around the business side of the tax, then I would say that transfer pricing is the right subject to get into as a CA. Now, if you look at the essence of what is transfer pricing, so transfer pricing is basically gets triggered when there are transactions between two related parties, two associated enterprises or group companies, if you were to say. And the basic premise on which the transfer pricing law is framed is uh, the law requires the taxpayer to justify that you are transacting with your related party or group entity, in the same manner as you would have done with unrelated or third party. So you have to superimpose your transactions as if that you are not dealing with a related party, but you are actually dealing it with an unrelated party. And that is what in the transfer pricing balance is called as meeting the arm's length test. So as you can see from the slide, the transfer pricing is covered for all kinds of transactions. It is for goods, it is for services, it is for intangible and asset related transaction, it is also for borrowings and loans. So anything of any dealing that you have between two associated enterprises or two group entities. So the way our law defines group entities as associated enterprises is to be covered under transfer pricing. Now, what was the idea of transfer pricing to be introduced? So India, started its FDI way back in 1991. And since then, a lot of multinational companies started setting up subsidiary companies, branch offices, project offices in India to expand their business. What was being seen is that uh, the margins or the profits that were left in developing countries like India were very minimal for the activity that they were carrying out. So, what used to happen is that if there was a transaction between a parent company and a subsidiary in India, then, let's say it's a service transaction, then the service entity would simply be given a cost plus 5%, and only 5% of the profit was shown in India and tax was paid thereon. Now, that does not reflect the right economic profit that a country should get. So, transfer pricing is really more like a tug of war between two countries to share the right amount of profits. Because if transfer pricing law is not introduced, then what could happen is that the taxpayer could repatriate all the profits back to the group companies on the basis of the transfer pricing that they can do with the group companies, and to that extent show lesser profits in India. And tax planning, tax avoidance, and all these areas, etc., get kicked in. So that is the reason why a lot of countries started introducing transfer pricing laws or provisions, especially in the Asia Pacific region, post 90s. So the first few countries, which like several years back introduced transfer pricing was Canada, US, and Japan. They were the pioneers of the transfer pricing law. And they have the TP law for like, I think more than, 60, 70 years. And it is only in the latter part, right, in the 20th century that you really see other developing countries also started introducing transfer pricing. So this is how the whole genesis and the birth of transfer pricing was, looked at from an India standpoint. Now, under India, this transfer pricing law is introduced under the Income Tax Act, right, 1961. There are various sections which codify this transfer pricing provisions, which I don't want to get into a technical discussion today because I'll try and keep my discussion into as more generic for you all to be aware that, look, how is this law evolved and what are the opportunities that arise out of this law. So, the sections are the basic section under which this entire code of transfer pricing is under section 92. And the law clearly talks about okay, how is transfer pricing to be tested, which is bringing in the arm's length price concept. What is the meaning of related parties or associated enterprise? What kind of transaction should be covered? How would you actually test that the transaction is at arm's length? So there are various methods, like how you have valuation techniques, right? Your discounted cash flow method, your net asset value methods, etc. Similarly, in transfer pricing, you also have the method which is called the comparable uncontrolled price method, where you compare the price, like price that a third party would have charged, or you look at the cost plus method, where you look at, okay, what is my direct cost of producing a good and what is the margin I should charge on that, or you look at the resale price method, where you do like a market back approach. So, like resale price is that, look, my market is able to take 100 rupees for this goods. As a distributor, I should keep, let's say, 30 rupees, and then therefore 70 rupees is the transfer price that I can give to the manufacturer or the principal entity. So that is resale price. And then you have the transactional net margin method, which is a TNMM method, which is more like you look at what is the net margin that a company at an operating margin level, not at the gross margin level, but you go down below and you look at the operating margin and you benchmark, and then you have the profit split method where you actually split the profit between the two entities in their contribution to the entire value chain. So these are all the methods in transfer pricing. Then came also, how will you test this entire thing? So there is an entire separate transfer pricing cell or wing within the tax department who scrutinizes all these international transactions and transfer pricing cases. So an assessee or a taxpayer is required to submit what is called a Form 3CEB, like an accountant's report along with your return of income every year, where you highlight all the related party transactions, what is the value, what is the method used, how will you justify the transfer pricing. So that Form 3CB is what you submit on a yearly basis, which is supported by a TP report, which is a transfer pricing report. And this is scrutinized then by the transfer pricing officer or the transfer pricing cell. And then obviously in the last 20-25 years, there's a lot of litigation on this area because taxpayer may say that, look, for rendering of software development services, which I'm exporting out, right? A cost plus 15 may be fine, but the tax officer could say that no, look, cost plus 15 is not okay. You need to do cost plus 25, and then it gets into a litigation mode where you appeal to the CIT, Commissioner of Appeals, you appeal to the tribunal, it goes to the court. So there is also litigation there. Now, how can you save or come out from litigation? You have what is called an advance pricing agreement. So, advance pricing agreement was also introduced under the transfer pricing law, where you can upfront go to the government and say that, look, this is how I plan to do my pricing with the group entities. And if you can give me your okay, right, or like your approval or sign off on this, then we sign like what is called an advance pricing agreement so that there is no litigation of this. And the crux of all this transfer pricing is to try and maintain all the documentation that will help you substantiate or justify your entire story of, look, what is your business? Who are you comparing your business with? How have you done the benchmarking? What transfer pricing method you have used? What is the functional analysis and risk analysis of your company? And you maintain all this documentation, which is what then gets verified by these various authorities. And for not complying with all this, also there are stringent penalty implications. So that way it becomes mandatory for companies to follow this law and follow or adhere to the compliances required. Otherwise, they could face penal consequences. So if you look at how the law has evolved, right, over the several, as I said, since 2001. So 2001 to 2005, the first 5 years was more about introducing the act, the law, in trying to implement it, the first few years of PP assessment, then started kicking in from 2005 to 2008, where the transfer pricing officer started to get a bit aggressive, making adjustments, there were a lot of litigations, etc. Then in this phase of 2000, uh, then in this phase of 2009 to 2012, there were all these dispute resolution mechanisms which were introduced. So there was an introduction of what is called dispute resolution panel. This panel consists of 3 commissioners, where if you don't agree to the assessment of the transfer pricing officer, then currently the assessing officer would issue only a draft assessment order, which is what you can appeal to the DRP. And then once the DRP, which the dispute resolution panel, gives a kind of a direction, then the final assessment order is out. So that is the DRP mechanism, which is time bound. So it's something like a commissioner appeals only. Commissioner appeals, there is only 1 commissioner. In DRP, there are 3 commissioners. And commissioner appeals has no time limit from which they can pass an order or appellate order. A DRP has to pass the order within 9 months from when you file the objections. And then you have the APA program, which I've spoken about. Then 2013 to 16 was an era where government also introduced what is called the safe harbor rules. So safe harbor rules is to say that the government defines certain transactions, which is, let's say, provision of software development services, provision of IT-enabled services, and they came out with a kind of a safe harbor margin. And they said that, look, if you meet this margin, then you automatically comply with the TP law. You don't need to go through all this rigmarole of documentation and litigation. But obviously, the safe harbor margins were very, very high when they introduced it initially. It started with around 18 to 20%, 20%, but it is still on the very higher side. And then came 2017 onwards, a lot of global things happened in transfer pricing, where there was a concept of secondary adjustment which was introduced. There was a concept of range in comparables which was introduced. Multiple year data set could be used for comparable companies. They introduced in compliance what is called filing of master file and country by country reporting. So over the years, every 3-4 years, TP something or the other kept getting introduced, and as you would see, there's really no time frame where we as a CA or a tax professional really felt, what do you say, that okay, now we know it all, right? Because the law kept on evolving. So, and it was a learning phase for us as and when we would handle more and more cases. Then, interestingly, they also introduced in transfer pricing what is called the other method. Now, other method is like a sixth method, like I've spoken about the five methods, like cup, cost plus, resale price, transactional net margin method, and profit split. These are the five traditional transfer pricing methods, which you would also see in OECD guidelines, which is what would be also used by all other tax authorities worldwide. But India came out with what is called the sixth method, which is the other method. Other method gave like a flexibility to the taxpayer to say that, look, it would include anything that would take into account a price that has been charged or paid or would have been charged or paid for the same or similar uncontrolled transactions, then that can fall under the other method. So things like valuation of intangibles, valuation of shares, doing cost allocation reports, reimbursements, so all this started getting then the being defended under the other method. Then came an era where in 2012, after almost 12 years, they also introduced domestic transfer pricing. So when transfer pricing, we were all, as we all understood till now, was for cross-border transactions. The cross-border transactions obviously involves, tax, profit shifting outside, and therefore some kind of tax planning. But what the government also realized that, look, a lot of companies were having two units, right? Let's say within a company, one unit, let's say, enjoying a tax holiday, like you could be covered under chapter 6A or under section 10AA, or you could be claiming exemption or deduction under ATIA. So such concessional tax rates for one unit, and then you are having another unit where you have the normal tax rate. So companies could also manipulate the transfer prices for transfer of goods and services from one unit to another unit internally also, and do some bit of tax planning. So that is where they also brought in this concept of specified domestic transactions, where they said that, look, PP will not be limited to international transactions, but also in such circumstances also apply to domestic transfer prices. Then, interestingly, in the initial years of transfer pricing, the case used to get scrutinized by the tax officer on the basis of the quantum of the transaction, right, or the materiality of the transaction. Then came an era where they said that, look, we don't want to sit and audit like all companies having transactions, let's say more than 10 crores or 15 crores, because that would be humongous amount of litigation. Rather, we will do a risk-based transfer pricing scrutiny. And when you say risk-based, it would mean that there are certain criterias or parameters on the basis of which, let's say, capsule gets selected in the CAS or the manual selection. And then if they are selected, right, under these criterias, under the CAS or manual selection, then a reference will be made to the transfer pricing officer and then he will carry out the transfer pricing audit. So this is how they move to risk-based TP audit. Then they introduce what is called the law of secondary adjustment. Now, secondary adjustment essentially means that, let me give you an example. That let's say I am selling goods. I'm a contract manufacturer in India and I am selling goods to my parent company in, let's say, UK. And I'm operating on a cost plus 8%. The transfer pricing authority comes back and says that, look, it should not be cost plus 8, but it should be cost plus 10. So you say that, okay, fine, I don't want to litigate. Either it could be under transfer pricing audit or you could, or if you have filed for an APA, they can come back and say that, look, it's not cost plus 8, but cost plus 10. And you as a taxpayer, let's say, decide that, fine, I just want to buy peace of mind. I don't want to litigate. I'm okay to cost plus 10. I will pay incrementally the tax on that 2% profit. So what does then the secondary adjustment law say? That, look, you can't stop at paying tax on just that 2%. You also need to bring in that differential revenue. So if your cost was 100, you are at 8% profit, you would have actually brought in 108 as income. Now you should have gotten 1110, right? Because 10% markup. So there's differential 2 rupees that you have not brought in. You need to actually bring that money into India from an FDI perspective. And if you don't bring that into India, then it will be presumed that, look, this is like as if you have given a kind of a loan to your parent company. And therefore, then there could be an interest implication, or you may have to pay like a one-time 18% tax, which is, let's say, equivalent to a dividend distribution tax, which was there earlier. So this is the concept of secondary adjustment, where they said that, look, it's not only the primary adjustment which is important, but it is also the actual impact of that primary adjustment you need to give effect to it. If not, then there will be a secondary adjustment. So this is how secondary adjustment law was then introduced. Then came the interesting concept of range and multiple year. Now, what happens in transfer pricing is you typically compare your transaction with a set of comparable companies, right? And therefore, you don't only have one data point for arm's length. You could have multiple data points for arm's length. So, as per the law, when the law was earlier introduced, they said that, look, if you have 10 data points for benchmarking yourself, then you need to take an average of all the 10 years. And you would obviously, on that average, be allowed a plus or minus 3% band. Because obviously everybody cannot operate at one single price. There will be a band or that will be available. Now, this was a very unique law for India, where they used arithmetic mean and this plus or minus 3%. Because what happens is that when you take an average, the average could be a skewed number, right? And also the plus or minus 3% is a very complicated mechanism. I mean, world over, if you see the way when the transfer pricing law is implemented, in statistics they use a concept called the interquartile range. So it's like one company at the 25th percentile and the company at the 75th percentile. That is a range in which the market could operate, and that is where the global way in which TP benchmarking is done is to look at the interquartile range. But India came out with this unique thing, and then obviously, in 2015, they changed the law to introduce this concept of a range. They also introduced that you can use multiple year data. So you don't need to use the data in which the transaction has happened, because most of the times the data for that year in that year itself will not be available in the database. So you can go back to the previous year. So they brought in this concept of uh, median. They brought in the concept of the 35th to 65th percentile, and they also brought in the concept of use of multiple year data. So this is again another evolution that happened in the TP law. And then, as I said, APA and MAP is obviously something that was brought in to resolve the dispute, right? Because if APA, you could have either you could go and unilaterally sign an APA with the Indian government, or let's say you can have a bilateral APA where you say that, look, I don't only want certainty from an India side, but I also want certainty from the other side of the transaction. Because what if I agree with India and let's say tomorrow the US or UK starts challenging this? So I will go into a bilateral APA with both the governments to say that, look, you agree with this. Now, in certain cases, if you don't want to do an APA, but you don't want to have the impact of double tax, right? Because if let's say you are at cost plus 10, tax authority saying it should be at cost plus 15, then on that 5%, right? Already US, UK, or whichever country other side has paid tax, and now you will in addition again pay tax. So there will be double tax. But to avoid this double tax, there is also a mechanism called a mutual agreement procedure, which is MAP, where you file an MAP and say that, look, whatever you guys agree, I need a relief of this tax on one side, right? So if between the two authorities you feel it should be cost plus 15, then fine, I will pay tax at 15% in India. But then accordingly, I should get that deduction in the overseas entity, and to that extent, a credit of the tax paid. So that there is no double tax from a taxpayer angle. So that is how all the APA and MAP and those cases got resolved. So I don't want to get into so much of detail here. And then I think I'll just talk the next few minutes on the recent transfer pricing controversies. So the controversies, if I were to summarize, which are continuing controversies in transfer pricing, is on selection of the most appropriate transfer pricing method, whether you should use cost plus, whether you should use TNMN, whether you should use other method, whether you should use profit split. So that is one. Second is on the selection of the comparable companies, because you believe that, look, ABCD is comparable to your business model, but tax authority could say that, no, look, ABCD is not comparable, only A from your side, and then there are these two more companies, XY, which are also comparable. So there is this whole debate on comparables. Then you have selection of tested party, where you typically see which of the company you want to test the transfer pricing for. And then you have also economic adjustments. How should you compute the margin? Should you include foreign exchange as an operating item? Should you exclude it? Whether you should take net margin, whether you should take gross margin. So these are the continuing debates on transfer pricing. Recent debates that we see that are happening are on account of, let's say, marketing service provider, which is like a pure commission agent or marketing support service provider, where you typically give a cost plus. It is being considered as a distributor. And they're saying that, look, cost plus is not adequate, you should have a return on sales. Then other financial transactions like giving guarantees, intercompany loans, then payments that are being made for R&D services, for intangibles like royalty payments, management services. All these are now highly being scrutinized. And in future, obviously, I believe that, with the BEPS era coming, which is your base erosion and profit shifting, things will get more litigated around, look, we should use a profit split method in most of the cases. Is there some business restructuring that has happened because of which there should be some exit tax or exit charge that should be given by India? Pushing of the secondary adjustment law. So all these could be more of like the future litigation trends. that we could see in transfer pricing. So for manufacturers, as I said, you could have royalty, you could have marketing intangibles, you could have economic adjustments, whether you should aggregate the transactions or segregate the transactions for benchmarking, what should be the comparability analysis for contract manufacturer, should you use the cup method versus the TNM, etc. So these are the typical issues for manufacturers. For distributors, if you are incurring an advertising marketing expense spend, should you be recovering this from the owner of the intangible, or is this carried out only for your incidental? I mean, is the benefit to the brand owner or the intangible incidental? But actually, the crux of AMP being incurred is for your own local sales. How would you benchmark startup losses? In distributors, whether you should use gross margin or TNMM, whether it should be a cost plus model or ROS model. So these are the broad, I would say, issues in TP for distributor. And for service provider, it is more about characterization. Are you providing low-end service? Are you providing a high-end service like a KPO? If you're providing management services, are you really getting the benefit of paying for these management services? Or you're just paying a management fee or intra-group service fee just for repatriating your profits? Have you really received the service? Is there a benefit? Is there a need? So all these questions are being asked. So these are the broad controversial issues. And then I would say in the last, I would like to summarize the opportunities and offerings for professionals in transfer pricing, right? Because as a CA and as a woman CA, when you are exploring different opportunities in this field, what is it in my view, like the way I look at it, because I've been in this field for the last 25 years, are the interesting areas, right, which could actually trigger the acumen of a CA professional. So, first of all, your transfer pricing has to be aligned to business objective, right? So, your understanding of the business model, your profitability and operational efficiency, which is linked to transfer pricing, your understanding of those aspects is a very interesting concept in transfer pricing. So when you get into transfer pricing, you learn these aspects of what are the various business models, how do they operate, how is it linked to TP, and that takes you away from your core tax, but it's more of common sense and business mind that you need to apply. So that is the very interesting part of transfer pricing, I would say. The second interesting part for transfer pricing professionals is interpreting tax laws, not only in India, international, using OECD guidelines, the BEPS action plans, etc. So again, concept of transfer pricing is very global. It's the way you would do or justify transfer pricing in India is the same as you would do anywhere in the world. So as a professional, you get trained into a much more global subject. And then obviously, your dispute resolution mindset is something that takes you more towards the lawyer or the litigation mindset. So in fact, for my own case, my own self, I got into doing law after 15 years of being a CA. And because I realized that, look, in transfer pricing, there's so much litigation and application of law that if I do my law, it will help me, right? Uh, I also have in my team MBAs and economists because they actually understand business in a far more better manner. Economists are able to do the benchmarking and economic analysis that is required in TP in a much more sophisticated manner. So it's a mixed skill set, I would say, in transfer pricing that gets developed for a professional. And the offerings that you would give to your clients, right, is broadly categorized into three areas. One is the various compliances that you need to do to comply with the law in the Income Tax Act. Second is the advisory aspect, where when a company is actually doing the transaction, they come to you for advice saying that, look, I'm doing this transaction with my sister concern. how should I plan the transfer pricing, right? I'm planning this business restructuring. How should I do it so that I comply with transfer pricing? And then it's more of a planning and advisory. And then the third aspect is litigation, where it could be, dispute prevention, which is more like APA, and MAP, which is more like a resolution, or it could be hardcore, dispute management or representation, which is your TP assessments, going to the DRP, CIT, ITAT, and fighting out the case for your client. So this is how I would summarize this subject of transfer pricing, right, for all the professionals. And I'll take a pause here, and then if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you, Karishma ma'am, for such wonderful session. We have some question here. It's from Ritika, Gorakhpur. She's asking that I want to pursue my career in transfer pricing, but no practical experience of that. How can I get into this career?
Right. So, see, you don't need practical experience, but if you are a CA and you have some basic tax knowledge, then you can get into this subject. So you could pursue, the international tax course, and the TP course is being organized by the CA Institute, right? On a regular basis, on a yearly basis, you can enroll for that, get that knowledge, that certification, and you can apply for a job. I mean, you'll of course have to start off at the starting level, and there are not only the big four companies, but a lot of CA firms, a lot of law firms, even in-house counsels, right? In-house in the industry also, they're looking for people who can help in this. So there is a whole range of employer opportunity that you could have. Not only the larger firms, but smaller CA firms, mid-sized firms, law firms, and the industry.
There are no more questions. Akriti Chaudhary from Gurgaon, she is saying, how can we get PPT for this topic?
Sorry, how can we?
Get PPT. Okay, we will move on next question from Priya, Mumbai. If we incur any expense on behalf of AE and charging it back to them, do we need to add markup?
So if it is an expense which is incurred as a reimbursement, right, which is more like a pass-through expense, like let's say if you are entering services, but you are also incurring some travel cost, or you have appointed a third-party vendor, and you're paying that vendor, right, on behalf of the parent company, where you don't have any value addition, where the Indian company has not done any value addition except for this passing on this expense, then there you do not need to charge a mark.
This question from Akriti was like, how can we get PPT for the topic?
Can we get?
PPT for the topic.
I have given the presentation to the institute. They can circulate it to the participants.
This question is over. We will leave this question only.
So if there are no more questions, I'll just add 2-3 points for the participants here, Komal.
Okay.
Transfer pricing as a field, it would benefit if you try and get some added degree with your CA, right? It could either be a law degree, it could either be, pursuing, let's say, some course in economics. And in addition to that, if you get an opportunity to get an international secondment where you can go outside and work, right? Or you yourself work outside after working in India, then it adds on to your experience because transfer pricing is a very global subject. So the more you are able to interact with the international fraternity on the subject, the more your knowledge can become better on this. And I think the more you practice, so transfer pricing in the initial years may seem to be very boring to many CA professionals I've seen. They may say that look, day in and day out, we're just doing preparing Form 3 CV, preparing TP report, doing the benchmarking. What is such a big deal? But as after 5, 6 years, right, when you get into the litigation, when you get into representing your client before the tax authority, before the court, advising them, that is where then you start doing all the interesting work. So you have to really have patience in transfer pricing to grow the value chain. And over the years, you would not regret, in my view, being in this field.
There is a one more question from Priya, Mumbai. She is asking that from assessment point of view, it is mandatory to have agreement with parent company or other aim.
Agreement can be with parent company or it could be with any other AE. So in transfer pricing, you are not supposed to justify only your transaction with parent company. Your transactions even with other group companies, right, which are sister concerns, would also get covered. Also, there is no mandatory requirement to have a written or a formal agreement. An agreement can also be an oral understanding or a mutual understanding. So, it is not also mandatory to have any signed formal agreements for it to trigger transfer pricing. If you have a transaction with either the parent company or with any sister concern, then transfer pricing will get triggered.
These questions are covered that we get from participants. Okay, we have question from Pallavi Gupta from Noida. I have moved out to USA. How can I start practicing in transfer pricing?
She has moved out of USA.
Yeah, she moved out to USA. She's working, so she is in USA. I think so.
She moved out. So there is no problem. So if you were doing transfer pricing in India, you can also do transfer pricing in US because the concepts remain the same. You can, and in US, it is not only the CA firms which do transfer pricing. A lot of law firms do transfer pricing. You can also join an industry transfer pricing. I think the best way will be to put a requirement on LinkedIn and see, or get in touch with any global recruitment agent companies who can give you positions in transfer pricing outside.
Okay, more next question is from Priya. Do we need to prepare transfer pricing study report each and every year?
Yes, you need to prepare transfer pricing study report each and every year.
So now the next question is from Nisha Hosle from Pune. Is transfer pricing study report required if ITS company is using cost plus method, margin of 20%, and turnover is more than 2 crore?
Turnover is more than
2 crore. Turnover is more than 2 crore.
yes. So all transactions exceeding 1 crore, that's the limit, require transfer pricing documentation. And even if your margin is 20%, you still need to do the TP documentation because there are penalties of not being. So one thing is penalties for not being at arm's length, but there are also penalties for not preparing and filing the documentation requirement. So you need to prepare documentation.
Next question is from Anita Rajbar Thane. She is saying that she want to pursue transfer pricing, career in transfer pricing, but not getting job opportunity. Everyone is asking for experience. Please, can you help? She want your guidance regarding that.
So all the people on this call, whoever is wanting to pursue transfer pricing and not getting a job, you can please send your CVs to me. I will try and send it to Deloitte if there are any openings and you can be considered. Be happy on merit basis. So I'd be happy to at least facilitate that.
There's one more question from Parimala H. She's asking what all documents mandatory for transfer pricing transaction.
See what all documents?
Mandatory for transfer pricing transactions.
Yeah, so there is something called the Rule 10D under the income tax rules. There's Section 92B, which are the documentation rules and documentation section, and Rule 10D. So 92B and Rule 10D that defines the documentation. There are 13 lists of documentation which are mandatory, and things like functional analysis of the taxpayer, economic analysis, industry report, carrying out what is the most appropriate method, writing down the justification for that. Then your intercompany agreements, your invoices, purchase orders, then also things like, let's say, if you have relied on any valuation reports, etc. So all that. So anything that you are relying on, right? To carry out or to justify your transfer pricing, all those underlying documents need to be maintained. But if you want to refer to the rule, it is Rule 10B and Section 92B.
There is again question from Priya Mumbai. For benchmarking, can our own margins from previous year be compared, or it has to be third party industry standard?
It has to be third party. You cannot compare your own margins.
Questions with forward.
Yeah, are there any more questions?
No, all questions are covered. All questions are covered. Okay. Thank you, Karishma ma'am. On behalf of WMC, thank you, Karishma ma'am, for taking such wonderful session and for sharing your knowledge and expertise in transfer pricing. It is like transfer pricing is boring as we considered, but through your session, it seems like it's interesting field. And I'm also thanking the backend team and technical team for conducting such sound session. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for the opportunity. I am putting my email in the chat box. If anybody wants to get in touch with me later, also they can get in touch.
Okay. Thank you. Jigna ma'am, please continue the next session.
Yeah, thanks, Komal. So here I would like to give a brief about Dipti ma'am, uh, CA Dipti Jain by profession. Am I clear? Am I audible clearly? Yeah, so say, CA Dipti Jain by profession, a sports enthusiast and a motivational speaker. She is partner in Kochar and Associates, Dadar, Mumbai, a 40 years old firm with 8 partners practicing in the field of taxation, funding, and all types of audits. The firm specializes in system audit and is pioneer in this field. Professionals from different areas like CA, CS, MBA, HR, and finance professionals are participants of our professional education webinars. She has conducted more than 300 webinars and 50 plus seminars. She has been the co-opted member of WIRC of ICI for the year 2022-23, Women Empowerment Committee, Ethical Standard Board Committee 23-24, and now in MSME and Startup Committee 24-25. She has been awarded as Star Woman of WIRC, the states of Maharashtra, Goa, Gujarat, of ICI on 8th March 2024. So by this, I will hand over to Dipti ma'am, please.
Thank you, Jigna, for this wonderful introduction. And I thank the Komal, the Karishma for wonderful presentation, Anu as well, my co-moderator in the session, and all the participants. So thank you, Jigna, for this wonderful introduction. And after this technical session, the session which I am going to talk more than a session, it's a talk with all of you, with all the fellow members. The talk on the topic, be the best version of yourself. So before sharing my screen, I put a question in front of all of you that what do you think is the best version of yourself? You can put the answers in the chat box. Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Be the best version of yourself is the topic, and the question I have already put in front of all of you is that what do you think is the best version? So imagine a version of yourself that is unstoppable, a version that is driven by passion, fueled by, yeah. Oh, just a minute. 1 minute. I'll just reshare my screen. Is it full screen now? Now? Okay. Okay, great. Now, what do you think is the best version of yourself? Imagine Before, again, it's not a full screen, I think. Is it, Saurabh? No. Okay. Just imagine a version of yourself that is driven by passion, a version that is fueled with lots of passion, guided by purpose, and a version that is guided by purpose, and that's what it is meant to be. Each one of us holds within us an incredible potential waiting to be unleashed, but often we let doubts, fears, and external pressures hold us back and not allowing us to reaching to our best level, to our true greatness. Being the best version of yourself is not about comparing yourself to others and striving for perfections. It's about striving for progress, growth, self-improvement, and wanted to be the better version of yourself every day. So how do you think you can become the best version of yourself? And before that, I would like to put a question in front of all of you. How many of you want to be the best version of yourself? We all are born with some talents, some potentials, and it's our responsibility to take out those potential, to explore those potentials within us, and recreate it, explore it, and display it in front of the whole world. So just type yes, I in the chat box if you want to be the best version of yourself. Saurabh, I request you to please see the chat box for the reply from the participants.
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. I would like to know that how many of you want to be the best version of yourself. Type I if you want. Before that, as Jigna has already introduced me, so here is all about me. I have been leading the WRC box cricket team also, and we are the champion of last 2 years in the box cricket tournament, women box cricket tournament. So be the best version of yourself. I hope every one of you want to be the best version of yourself. But the question arises, how we can achieve that? How to achieve the best version of us? You become what you believe. Thoughts are the things. You become what you believe in. Sit with a notepad. Some activities also we'll keep doing during this session. So I request you to please sit with a notepad and write 2 good things which you thought it should happen and it had actually happened in your life, and 2 fears, 2 bad things. There's no need to share this, and that has also happened in your life just because of your fear, and it got created. Would like just all of you to note down 2 good things that you thought should happen and it happened. Like you have thought, like you are from a non-CA background and you thought in your life that I'll become the chartered accountant, and your thoughts have become things and now you are a CA. So this kind of 2 things, you just ponder on those 2 points where you have thought of happening it and it actually happened in your life. So it's said that whatever we think becomes our thoughts, and whatever instructions we give to our mind is just get transmuted to our body. And in one of the famous interview, in Ms. Dhoni has also told that your body gets tired only when you when your mind speak to your body that your body is tired. It's the instruction which is passed on by your mind to your body cells, which get communicated and makes you feel the way you are feeling it now. So the next question arises, how to become the best version? And if not now, then when? Do you think, is there any ideal situation in life when the things will go as per your wishes, as per whatever you want, as per your thoughts, and you will arrive at those ideal situation. Like as this is a female oriented webinar, I can speak that. Have you ever thought ki all my family members will agree, then I'll go out and restart with my second inning of my professional career or something like? So friends, I would like to share that there's no ideal situation in the life. You just have to start from wherever you are. Just start with whatever situation, in whatever situation you are. You just think about your aim and goals wherever you want to achieve, and start with whatever little resources you are having, and you can move ahead with those little things, and the way will start appearing. So you have to start it now. And here at this point of time, I would like to share two famous stories. One story of a frog, a very famous story. There occurs a frog race. Jisme, it happened like there was a frog race and 10 frogs were climbing on the mountain, and they have to reach the frog which reaches the top of the mountain will win the race. What happened? The crowd which was watching them was continuously commenting, "Oh, it's such a tough part. Nobody can ever climb on the top of the top of the hill, and it's really impossible. It's very woody, it's grassy, it's slippery, and no one can reach there." What happened during that race among all those 10 frogs? One by one, each frog started falling down. But there was one frog which was continuously moving ahead and reached on the top of the hill. Can anyone answer what was that one thing which made that frog reach on the top of the hill and other 9 frogs who were not able to reach achieve their goal? Can we have the chat? Saurabh, is there any comments in the chat box if we can have answers from the participants?
Yes, ma'am. Many of the participants they are want to be. They, as you told them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. More than 20 just wanted to have change in their life.
Okay, thank you. So the friends, the reason behind that one frog reaching the top of the hill and other 9 frogs who were not able to reach, there was a one single difference, and you all are going to be really surprised for the reason. The frog which reached on the top of the hill was a deaf frog, a frog who cannot listen. Yes. So when you want to move ahead in your life, be soundproof. Stop listening to the negative comments, the critics, and just focus on your aim and your goal, and you will be able to achieve it. Because these all are the diversions. When a person focus on it and is be negative, stop listening to the negative comments, the demotivations, or the negative comments which he faces, then definitely he reach its aim. The next story which I would like to share with you is the story of a babool tree. There were 5 seeds sown in a farmhouse in the field. One was of sunflower, again, the second was of rose, and 2 more seeds were there of different plants. And the 5th one was of babool plant. During the course of 1 year, the farmer planted them and watered, fertilized, and everything happened. In the 1 year, all other plants grown, but in the babool tree, there was no growth. And it happened like for next 2 years. After 2.5 years, what happened? All of a sudden, that babool tree grown to the heights higher than the other 4 seeds which were planted at the same time. Again, the moral of this story is that we all have different growth rates. Our lives are different. We should never compare ourselves to our peers or to anybody else. Might be that we say apna time aayega. The time, your time will come, but it's not necessary. If it's not happening now, it will not happen never. It will never happen. It's not like that. So give yourself time, keep working on yourself. So finally, what I want to conclude this with that, if not now, then when? Start with whatever little or whatever resources you have. So here are the 7 steps to follow to become the best version of yourself. And these are very simple, practical steps. And I have applied in my life and also suggested to many other peers, and they have also felt the difference in their life. Follow the good lifestyle. Design the morning routine. A well-planned morning routine helps you a lot. If you are waking up at 7, then just try to shift a little bit early by 10, 15, 20, and gradually increase the time. And it will help you a lot in scheduling your daily morning routine and to control your whole day. Take care of your mental health. As you all know, we all goes through lots of stress. So many things are happening, family, professional, social, at all levels we are dealing with. Each one of us is dealing with a lot of things. So take good care of your mental health. You should follow some meditation techniques, do regular yoga, exercise. Even 15 minutes of regular exercise, dedicated time is going to help you a lot in maintaining your synchronization in your body and mind. Move on from everything and everyone who brings your energies down. Avoid toxic people in life. Avoid people who brings your energy down. Always take care of things and thoughts and the people who brings your energy up. It's not necessary to have 10 people in the group. 10 nahi hai, chal jayega. But even if you have one good friend, or one person who always motivates you to do better in your life, it's enough for you to move ahead. Practice self-love. Self-love is the key to success. If you don't love yourself, who else is going to love? It's very well said that whatever is inside gets vibrated outside. So practice self-love. If you love yourself, people around you or people with whomsoever you meet are going to respect you, love you, see you with the same mirror, with same lens as you see yourself. Make peace with your past. Most of us, in fact, I have seen many people regretting their past ki ye nahi hua, wo nahi hua, aisa nahi hua. So just avoid whatever happened is happened. The past is past. Just make peace with your past, accept your past, accept everything with whatever happened, and just give a positive thought कि जो हुआ, it happened for some reason and you have got some good learnings from them. So make peace with your past. It's very important to make harmony with whatever happened in your life and your past, good or bad experiences. Next, very important, write a journal. Just write, give some time to yourself and write journal. Write down whatever thoughts or learnings or whatever happened in the whole day. 5 minutes of journal writing helps you to concentrate and focus on yourself a lot. And visualization. Visualization, manifestation is a very important key to become the better version of yourself, to improve your conditions, to level up yourself from the level where you are already there. And do not listen to the negatives. Again, a very important thing, avoid negatives. Though a constructive feedback should always be taken, but negative comments, negativities should be completely avoided. And negative people, toxic people should be cut down from your life. Cut down the negative people immediately after the session from your life. And it takes a lot of courage and daring, because sometimes those people are very, very close to us. It's very difficult for us to cut them down. But once you take that bold step, you will find the miracles happening in your life. And the efforts which you are putting on yourself for the betterment of your each day will get reduced by 50%. So cut down the negative people from your life. Next, here are the 10 self-improvement tips that will change your life. Set goals for yourself. Now, when it comes to set goal for yourself, it's not very necessary that you should always put only the professional goals. It can be health goals, family goals, or your kids related, or learnings related, or having some more diploma certificates, or goals related with like I'll network with in next 10 days with 5 more people, or I'll improve my network communication skills. Anything it can be your goals, but it's very important to set goals in your life. Goal setting is important, not to show yourself. Goal setting doesn't mean that you are an ambitious person. No, goal setting is important because it brings a lot of enthusiasm in your life. When every morning you wake up, there should be some thought in back of your mind कि मुझे आज ये करना है, आज ये. Otherwise, enthusiasm आएगा कहाँ से life में? So goals should be there. Ki, yes, 15 minutes exercise I'll do, or I'll make some good cook, or I'll finish that case study, or I'll read some more case laws. And goal can be anything, but set goals. This is very important to maintain the youth and the energy in your life. Display your goals in your home. With respect to the long-term goals, you should display those goals in your home, preferably at the place where you see before sleeping, or before sleeping or after waking up in the morning. And even you can display the goals of your family members also. Ask your family members also to write down their own goals. It will help them also to stay focused, concentrated, and make the best use of their time. Start now. As I've already told, there's no ideal time in the life. When it comes to creating new habits and working towards your goal, don't let yourself slide. There should be no such things as starting next week or starting tomorrow. You are working toward your improving yourself, but then why to wait? Start it right now from this moment. Enough time, enough life has already gone. Just start it from now and make the best utilization of every day which you are blessed with this life. Next is evaluation. What is not working? It's very important, friends, to work and to focus on what is not working in your life. We often keep doing the things ki ye bhi kar lete, wo kar lete, and we keep on doing without pausing ourselves and analyzing the things which are not working. If something is not working, keep that aside or delegate those work to somebody else, and don't waste your energy on those things. What is not working, just keep them aside. Acha, if there is a scope to improve yourself on those tasks, then give yourself those time. And if you don't want to give your time on those, then keep them aside and just focus on the things which are working for you. Like there are many people who are morning risers and many who are not, like me. So so it works for people to wake up at 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock and they do all the studies, morning course, they complete early morning, and they like waking up in the morning, and by 6, 7 o'clock they are done. But I think 70% of people like me, like most of you, it's very difficult for us to follow this biological clock of waking up early morning. So set your schedule according to your comfort zone, according to your biological clock. So it's not necessary. If something is working for someone, it's going to work for me. Might be I'm very good in sitting late night and with full concentration finishing my work. So it all depends on an individual. So evaluate yourself what is not working for you. Celebrate small accomplishments. It's very important to celebrate small accomplishment. Keep motivating yourself, because the success, the goal is a path. It's a journey, and you should enjoy the journey. To celebrate small accomplishments by doing giving a small treat or whatever it is, whatever you feel is the way to enjoy those accomplishments, and eliminate a bad habit. In addition to starting a good habit, self-improvement is also about ridding yourself of bad habits. What do you do on regular basis that takes away from you? Get ready for spooky season early and goes those bad habits from your life. Cut down on screen time. So this is very important. We all are addicted to mobile, WhatsApp, Facebook, Insta, everything. But cutting down on screen time is very important for your mental and physical health. It's really amazing how much time we spend on our phones, tablets, or computers without we realize it. So make a point to cut down on the tech and focus on self-improvement goals. You know, when you focus, you make yourself and disciplined that okay, I'll watch the mobile for only half an hour, 15 minutes, or next 2 hours I'm not going to touch my mobile phone. It's like detoxification of from mobile. If you do that, it's going to help you improve your determination, your willpower. So cutting down on, give small targets to yourself and try to cut down on the screen time. Give more time to self-analysis, spend time with environment, with your family, kids, and with your friends. Find self-improvement resources. So you have there are so many self-improvement resources available nowadays on online, as well as books and self-help books are there. In fact, nowadays we are having many self-improvement clubs also, which are totally available on free. Good communities are there. Find out such communities of your interest, join them, recreate it, and it's going to help you out, and you will see altogether very different personality of yourself get developed through those things. Be okay with imperfections. It's very important to accept your imperfections. The reason what I think many people fail is just we are not so perfect. Don't expect perfections in your life. Just be okay with whatever it is. Sometimes it happens कि when we go on too much perfections, चीजें होती ही नहीं है. So don't wait. Just start with things and do the things whatever you can do. Next, very important, prioritize your work. Otherwise, you will be in a mess. List down all the tasks which you want to do. Sometimes we are unable to decide this or this. All 4, 5 seems to be very important. So just list down all 10, 20 things which are in your mind. And then after listing those 20 things, you just prioritize them, figure out those things as per the timeline. Okay, I need to finish this task before 12 o'clock. I need this submission of my reports, or this many coordinations are required, or I have to communicate this information to some person. So that way, list out the things and prioritize your work. Friends, find it. Once you do it, definitely you will find the efficiency of your day is going to be increased by multi-folds, and you will be able to accomplish more tasks as you do it before that. So after going through all this, how I'll feel that what is the best version of me? How do I know that, yes, this is the best for me? So you feel blissful after doing that. There's a feeling of goodness. You feel you have more clarity in life. There's a lack of anxiety, and there's a self-contentment. And you always feel I am at the right place. See, this is happens with many people who are in job or in practice and in business. So jab job karte hai, tab at that time every day you feel that, oh, I'm in a job, I don't want to continue this job. Every day you go to the office from 9 to 6 and you feel I don't want to be here. Why I am working here? Why I am working for this people? Why, if I put all this energy in my own ventures, in my own business, or in my own practice, then I can do better. So this is how you have to think. This, if a person is having this thoughts continuously in the back of his mind, then definitely the job is not the right place for him. He should opt out and plan something that can help him in the developing his own business or practice. Next is, I'm doing right things in my life. No matter what the world speaks to you, when you are going for your passion, if somebody tells, oh, this is not going to work it out, or why you have left your job, but you think that, yes, I'm doing the right thing in my life. Like when Aman Gupta started with both lifestyle, he left his good marketing job in a good MNC. He was working there. And when he started with his own company, Boat, so many people were there, his own relatives, who pointed out that itna acha, well salaried, well paid off job chhod ke, why you started with this Boat, and there's already Apple, Sony, and so many good competitors you are going to face. Then how your company is going to survive? And today we all can see the results. So doing right things in my life, whatever you think is right for you is going to be the right. आज नहीं मानती है दुनिया, एक दिन जरूर मान जाएगी. But follow your conviction, follow your passion instead of imperfections. Though I'm not good in that task, but I'm happy doing it. I'm ready to change myself. I'm ready to improve myself. Next, happy with what I'm doing, even if it's not worthy at present in eyes of friends, relatives, or world. I'm doing something. I'm following some passion of mine, though it don't look worthy in front of the other people or eyes, but one day will come when your passion will give the result. That is what Steve Jobs, follow your passion. Failures in present doesn't demotivate you. When you follow your passion, when you feel content from inside by doing something, then failures or small failures, whatever you face by doing and going on that journey, doesn't affect you much. You keep on moving towards that path instead of failures. You are ready to improve. You are ready to work out because your focus is completely on the goal, on the success, on the passion, on the point which you want to do or the point which you want to prove. So for doing that, it's very important, the SWOT analysis. Strength, weakness, opportunities, threats. We all know that. हम सब जानते हैं, थोड़ा बहुत MBA भी सीखा हुआ है. Google, we all know, we all heard this term SWOT analysis. But actually, how many of you have ever done this SWOT analysis? I would like to have a pause for 1 minute, just 1 minute. And I request all the participants who are carefully listening, I want to make that sure that you have the best utilization of next 20 minutes with this in this session. I would like you to please do the SWOT analysis of yourself. Quickly jot down one point: strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. What are your strengths? Quickly write it down. I'm sure every one of you, all the participants are having some strength. Yes. Weakness. Come on, let's have the best utilization of this time. I hope after start working, I want this session to be like a workshop where you learn something and implement it in your day-to-day life. So strength, I hope every one of you have written a strength. Now a weakness. Weakness which stops you from continuing, like I'm not consistent. I'm not able to follow, not in discipline, or anything can be a weakness. Yeah? Write it down. Opportunities. What are the opportunities available to me right now? Everyone have opportunity. If you think you don't have any opportunity, no, it's not like this. You always have an opportunity to start from a very small thing. So write down the minimalistic opportunity which is available to you. Whatever it is, you can even, if you think work from home opportunity, if you explore work from home opportunities is going to be there, or even if you can't devote that much time, any kind of opportunities can be, you can take the classes, coachings, or anything. Any opportunity there for sure, there's some opportunity in everybody's life. Note it down, think over it. What all opportunities are available to you in your life? Next is threats. What are the threats you are facing? What are the obstacles you are going to face? Or what are the things which is stopping you from doing what you want? Figure out, think about the threats, and these threats many a times are self-generated. Those threats are almost always in our mind. Most of them are created by ourselves only. Write down the threats. So friends, before I move on to the next slide, let us finish with strength. What are the strengths you have? Write down. Weakness, opportunities, and the threats. Yes? Coming towards the more very interesting slide. How to become the best version of me. Why I and how I can be the best version of myself. The first, which sets you apart from all the others and makes you unique, is you are unique and irreplaceable. I have a simple question. How many people are there? There are 700 million people in this world. And you see, this thumb impression of yours will never match with some other person. There's no twin. So this thumb impression, the fingerprint which you are going to imprint, is immatchable to other 700 people in this world. So that itself makes you the most unique person in this world. So how you can underestimate yourself or overlook yourself? You definitely have some capabilities, some potentials. That's why you are here. You are born on this earth for some purpose. So you are unique and irreplaceable. And it's very wrong, very, very wrong and unkind on our part if we compare ourselves to somebody else. So please stop comparing yourself. Every life, every upbringing, every circumstances, the situations are different. So never compare yourself to anybody. You yourself is unique and irreplaceable, and very important, you yourself is responsible for improving your situations. You have that power of improving your life. Take charge of your life, and that is what the next point is all about. Dream without restrictions. Fly your jet because you are the only pilot of it, and nobody is going to do it for you. You have to uplift yourself. You have to fly your jet plane because you are the one who is sitting on that driver's seat, who is driving and giving the directions to yourself. See, if you see my family is this, I'm getting influenced, I have this circumstances. So you are the pilot and you are allowing yourself to be controlled by the people who are sitting behind. Don't allow that. They just have the right to give the opinion, but your opinion is the strongest. Your opinion is most important. So be the pilot of your life. Never give up on any opportunities just because you are not prepared enough to grab them. Just bang on, just bang on the opportunities, whatever available to yourself. See, opportunities do come in everyone's life, but we often restrict ourselves, we hold ourselves from grabbing this, from holding those things, because we think that we are not prepared enough. We think that we are not, we don't have that potential. Abhi utna knowledge nahi hai, abhi ye nahi hai, wo nahi. There's so many things we keep thinking about ourselves कि we don't grab those opportunities. Suppose if you get an opportunity, आपकी company में you are working and suppose your senior auditor or manager, your CFO resigned from that position and you are just working on an accounts managerial position. Isn't it an opportunity for you? You should dare your foot ahead and ask to your management कि CFO ने resign किया. I have given 2 years, 3 years in this company. I understand better, and you should dare to take that opportunity to become the CFO of your company. This is just an example. There are many things happens in everybody's life like this. So you should always be alert and agile, proactive enough to see around yourself. What are the opportunities available? तैयारी है नहीं है कितनी है, just go ahead with that. You will learn in the process. जो वहाँ, if you think that somebody is sitting on the top, that person is very well prepared, he knows everything, तो उसको भी कुछ नहीं आता है, जितना आपको आता है उतना उसको आता है. So always move ahead in your life and take the opportunities. Be ambitious. It's not selfish at all. It's not selfish to be ambitious. Just be ambitious. क्या है? God has given us potential. God has given us our life, and it's our responsibility to bring the best out of us. We are responsible to bring the best within ourselves. So अगर हम अपने आप को बेहतर 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 बनाना चाहते हैं, तो there is nothing wrong in that. Be ambitious. आप बेहतर होते हैं तो आपका सराउंडिंग भी बेहतर बेहतर होता है. You help people around us, your surroundings, your family, your friends, everything around us, around you gets better. So be ambitious. It's nothing selfish, and demand for more. Be greedy. Demand for more in your life. Demand for once you accomplish, demand for more. Don't try to be like someone, not even like your role model. Build your own path. It's very well said. You should keep role models in your life. Ki, yes, I want to be like this. I want to be like Indra Nui, or I want to be the best professionals, or I want to be an expert in so and so subject like this. But yes, you can idolize the people, but don't try to be like someone. Set role model for their qualities, but build your own path. Make your own path to reach that destination. Make your own version. Okay. Failure are part of success, and there's nothing wrong in that. Never feel embarrassed because of failures. Failures, we are chartered accountants. We have who have seen failures better than us. The number of attempts, the failures, एक group रह गया, दूसरा नहीं है, one exemption, 3 subjects pending. We all have seen failures, and failures, friends, it's okay. Failures are part of success. It's part of learning. जो शेर सवारी गिरते हैं मैदाने जंग में, वो कहाँ गिरते हैं? जो घुटनों के बल चलते हैं. So it's absolutely fine to fail. Next. Take calculated and educated risk to improve yourself. It's very important. Take calculated risk. ऐसा हवा में कुछ ना करे. We take calculated and educated risk in your life. Very important. And be bold. Be bold to put your foot in front. Bold people, courageous people make history, and not the most intelligent, polished, or nice boy or a girl in the room. Be bold and courageous to take your step ahead, to work for your ambition, to work for your thoughts, and be bold enough in your life to present yourself, to present your thoughts, and to speak in the crowd. Surround yourself with the right people who motivates you every moment. So it's keeping a group of those people around yourself who keeps on motivating you is very important. Cut off the toxic people from the life. They are not at all required. Even if the person is your very close one, cut them off. If the person don't synchronize with your aim, goal, ambition, आप कुछ लेके जाते हो उसके सामने, यार, if I want to do like this, I think I can make this billion company, or I can work on this, we can form this best firm, or whatever, you comes out with those ideas, and that person always demotivate. Cut those people out from your life. There's no harm. कोई नुकसान नहीं होगा. You will always feel better, and you will be better situation. And it's very well said that your personality is average of 5 people with whom you interact the most. जो average 5 people लोगों के साथ आप सबसे ज्यादा interact करते हैं, आपकी personality, your thought process, life, your achievements get affected by those 5 close circle of yours. So be very careful while choosing your circle of 5 people. Those people will always criticize you, so ignore. That's very well said. Ignore. If people support you, ask them to be with you. If they don't, just ignore. Leave them at their process. उनको उनके हाल पे छोड़ दीजिए. There's no need to carry any burden or baggage, and enjoy the process. It's very important to enjoy the process of your life, enjoy your journey, enjoy your every day, because you never know what is going to happen the next day, the next moment. So enjoying the life is very important. This life is very precious with lots of efforts. As we say in our Indian culture, ki kai lakh janmon ke baad we get this human life. So enjoy the process of this life. Cherish every moment you spend on this earth and enjoy your life, because your life is your life only. आपकी life आपकी खुद के कर्मों की वजह से, just because of yourself you got your life, not because of your any XYZ person. So whatever you water grows. Whatever you water grows. Again, very important. Whatever you pay attention to and focus on gets bigger. Attend to what you want and not what you fear or despise. What happens actually? Actually में होता क्या है? I would like to have the comments where we focus on. Participants, I would like to have friends comments from you कि हम लोगों का focus किस चीज पे होता है? Yes, our focus is on fear. Our focus is on failures. Our focus on despise, that अरे नहीं हुआ तो क्या होगा? This will happen, that will happen. Instead of focusing on what will positive happen, we focus all the things, all our mind and thoughts, अरे ये गलत हो जाएगा, ऐसा होगा, वैसा होगा. So we focus more on negatives rather than on positive. So it's very important to focus on good things, what we want our life to become bigger and better with. Focus on our goals, targets, कि ये target पे focus करिए. इस पे दिमाग लगाना बंद करिए कि ये होगा नहीं होगा, practical है कि नहीं है. Better focus on this. AC on करना. Better focus on that. Next is you get what you focus on. So focus on what you want. Very simple. The life is very simple. If you follow this funda, life से 70% problems निकल जाएगी. Because make your mind very clear. You get what you focus on. So focus on what you want. Simple. Life is simple. Everything is simple. Just focus on what you want. That's it. Next. Life is all about focus. The things we think about, focus on, surround ourselves with, will ultimately shape who we become. So, abhi is session ke baad, be very careful, alert, and agile with the people who are surrounded with the thoughts which are coming in your mind. It will make you what you are going to become. Next, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. Everything is achievable. Elon Musk के पहले किसी ने सोचा था कि मार्स में जा सकते हैं? A rocket in the Mars. And that too, Elon Musk is not a scientist, but he studied everything and did better than NASA, and he was the first one to send to the Mars rocket launcher. So you can achieve anything you set your mind to. Faith. Faith is the key to all the success. Faith is the only agency through which the cosmic force of infinite intelligence, that is the whole universe, can be harnessed and used by the man. Faith. हम भगवान के सामने भी we go and pray. We have the faith on certain pilgrimage. We have faith on people, on tirth and all that, on gods, and those faith, the faith makes the things possible. So faith is a very important thing, and the feeling of faith is considered as one of the highest level of emotion in this universe. And the whole cosmic energy, the infinite intelligence, the whole universe, you have that energy to tap the whole universal power through this power of faith. So have faith on your goals, on yourself. Again, very important. What's inside you creates your world. Ask yourself. Ask yourself right now at this moment, what is inside you? Sadness, joy, fear, disgust, anger. What's inside you? I'm not telling what you are showing to the world, what you are actually feeling inside you. What's inside you? Sadness, joy, fear, disgust, anger. Check yourself, correct yourself, change yourself, make yourself better. This daily affirmation can help you in becoming the person of your dreams. I am. Start your day, end your day with the word I am. But I am what? I am. I am strong. I would like all the members to please repeat with me. I am strong. I am in control of my life and my feelings. I can overcome my greatest fears. I'll never ever give up. I'm enough and I'm complete. I define my worth and I'm worthy. I trust myself completely and I'm my number one priority. Write your 3 affirmations right now. I would like all of you to write 3 affirmations for yourself. Right now. It will be better if you write immediately. Right now, it will hardly take 1 minute to write down the 3 affirmations for yourself, which you are going to practice daily. And it's almost, many people say that morning, evening, before sleeping you do, but affirmations you can do anytime in your day also, whenever you feel free or whenever you feel low. Nahi lag raha, so you start affirming yourself, start speaking positive to yourself that yes, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I'm this. So whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve. ये जो प्रोसेस हमने पूरा एक्सरसाइज किया, the exercise is to make up our mind to believe in ourselves, to conceive our mind that we can achieve our goal. It's very important कि सबसे पहले आपके mind से acceptance आना चाहिए for that particular goal. The whole process which we did is for that, is for making up your mind to accept your goal, that yes, you are capable enough to achieve it. So whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve. So if you want to be the Superman, you are, or you can be a superwoman. So whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve it. And I'll take some example. So one question to all of you: who is the fastest runner on the planet with a 9.58 seconds world record in the 100-meter sprint? May I have the names in the chat, name in the chat box? If any of the participants know, देखते हैं किसका general knowledge है. Saurabh or Ruchi, can you help me with the chat?
No, there is no high. See, there is no like.
He is
as of
the
now for the chat.
fastest. Who is the fastest runner on the planet with 9.58 seconds world record in the 100-meter sprint? I think most of you know, but he is the one. Usain Bolt. He set the world record of running 100-meter race in just 9.58 seconds. And when his interview was taken, he told that he exercised, he practiced 5 years to make his mind believe that this race is, this 100-meter sprint is very much possible to be completed within this time limit of, he estimated to be, he wanted to accomplish it into 8 seconds, but definitely there's some performance gap of 1 second. So he made it and it's the world record, and it's very much expected that nobody in future can break this record of 9.58 seconds 100-meter sprint. So this is what I want to speak to all of you, that whatever your mind can conceive, it can achieve. Next, a very important, How many of you know this player, Cristiano Ronaldo, the Portuguese footballer? He is the players with the highest jump measures during his football match. You want to throw that goal, and he did this highest jump measure of 2.93 meters, which is 9.61 feet. Can you imagine any normal human doing this? We can't even jump to 2 or 3 feet. So this is 9.61 feet just over the head of the other player to hit that ball. And it's marked as the highest jump in the history of football. तो हम कहाँ अपने आप को restrict कर रहे हैं कि we can't do this, we can't do that. This is the level of the brain of level, and this is the human power. This is the power of your brain, your potential. So stop restricting yourself. And at the last, you can do whatever you want. Just it's up to you how much you make yourself better. Remember, don't be the same. Be the better. Be better every day. With these, I would like to conclude my session. Here are my social media links. You can join me on LinkedIn, Facebook. I have my YouTube channel also with the name Gyan Station, as well as WhatsApp, Telegram. Or you can also ping me on my number, WhatsApp number. I'm very much available. So thank you for being wonderful audience, and thank you ICAI and the Women and Young Members Excellence Committee, Chairperson Preeti Savla ma'am and Vice Chairperson Kemisha ma'am, and for giving me this opportunity to speak and share my thoughts with all the fellow members of ICI. And thank you, everyone. And thank you, team, for being a technical team, and everyone else in the moderation team for being great support. The house is open for the question answer.
Thank you, ma'am. It was really very motivating and very interactive session. I mean, I can feel like, of course, whatever you said, if you are very, no, whatever you think that happens, yes. When for us it happens, we have many things, but there is one question which is very interested. Komal from Jamnagar, he has asked, are you satisfied with yourself completely?
So, hi Komal, thank you for this question. I would like to say that there is no level of satisfaction. There is always an improvement. And that is what the session is all about, making yourself better. I'm very much happy with whatever I'm doing right now. At this level, I'm okay. I'm satisfied with what I have achieved till date. But there's always a huge scope. There's a lot more to explore. So definitely I'm working myself to make, as I told in the whole session, better and better each day.
Okay. Okay. And others, like whatever questions you have asked, they have given their confidence and they have given the affirmation also, I am strong, I will never give up, numbers of one priority and all that. So there are lots of interactive things which have come in the chat.
Wonderful, wonderful. We would like
Yeah.
to, if we can share some thoughts which has been shared by the participants, affirmations or anything, so that it can be spread to other members can also come to know.
Like we have Kinjal from Ahmedabad is telling willingness to do little extra made like something to reach the goal.
Okay.
Okay, and others like whatever you have asked, they have just said yes. I want to. Yes, of course, consistency, make the things. They have a faith and trust to self. All that.
Yes.
That's it. Yes. And then from Sarita from Bangalore, she said, thank you so much, ma'am, for a very interesting session. So Diptiji, really, it was very motivating. when we have a very nice sessions and like know where we are making and how we can go about. And I would like to, anything else like you want to add?
I've delivered. Anything else
Okay.
is there to share? Any questions are there? I would like to answer. And Anu,
Okay.
good to see you again
Thanks.
in just few days.
Yeah. Okay. So I would really thank you. And on behalf of, I have, like we have received another chats also. Like, thank you, ma'am. It was really very motivating. So, and another one, super motivating session.
So
So we have got from Kolkata and Bhavnagar. Yes. Okay. Now, so on behalf of WMEC, I would like to convey my gratitude to Preeti ma'am and Kamisha ma'am for amazing initiative they have taken for this Yashaswini series. And thanks to our wonderful speaker, CA Dipti Jain ma'am, for inspiring us. And also my gratitude to all for taking time and joining the session and making it a very successful. So I thank everyone for joining this session. So Preeti ji, really, like what we think, we get that. This I have really seen in my life also.
yes, you can share your experience, Anu, somewhere.
Sure, like when, like for all the relatives, it's the same thing when, after marriage and then the break, when you come back, it's really a very big thing. But when I was in a break, I had this in mind, like I want to do something, and really I'm blessed. Like not, it's like 4 or 5 years I have entered in this professional again, and today's thing I have achieved whatever I have thought of. So it's just my thoughts which made me to come up to here. Okay. Mm.
Yeah.
Nice seeing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nice, Anu.
Yeah.
That's what I told. Thoughts are the things. Whatever we think, we become. So ये हमने पहले जब सीए करने में अप्लाई किया तो why we stopped applying now as we gradually grow old? We should keep applying and make our energy.
And we have got one more from Vinita from Mumbai. Saying thanks for a wonderful session. My opinion, tools like self-love and self-care can also work towards achieving these objectives.
Wonderful.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Then we'll take a leave. Okay. Thank you. Bye.